March 19th gets very interesting for the Federal Reserve. That two-day meeting concludes 2 weeks today. Mike McKee, our economics and policy correspondent, joins us now for more. Mike, the data is what the data is. It's all we've got. And I know we're only a month into this, but I wonder where we'll be by the time we get to that Federal Reserve meeting.
I suspect we'll be about where we are, John, given especially what Howard Lutnick was just saying about we're going to make some adjustments this afternoon, and then the real tariffs come on April 2nd. Even though the Fed has some detail now to work with about some tariffs, there's still a lot more they don't know. That's what John Williams' point was yesterday in his interview with us. He said, we do know that tariffs are inflationary. We do expect inflation out of this, but we don't know how much, because we don't know how long the tariffs will last, how many other tariffs will be put on, and what they're going to, what costs they're going to impose on the economy. So they're not much better off, put it that way, and they won't be by the 19th than they are right now.
You were speaking, Mike, yesterday with the Fed's Williams, and it was a great conversation. It was an interesting nuance that he had about inflation and how it would affect their thinking. How much of the mainstream does he represent, and how would you characterize how this does color the path of rate cutting ahead?
Well, I think he's probably in the mainstream in the sense that what he was saying is tariffs are inflationary, but we don't know, because we don't know what the president's plans are, whether that inflation carries through. In other words, we're going to get a rise in the price level, and that's what some members of the Fed have focused on, like Chris Waller. Now, does that continue because you have a sort of rolling series of tariffs coming through, or is it that one-time price level rise that the Fed can look through? They just don't know that yet. And at the same time, they're keeping an eye on the overall economy and whether it's rolling over. The data, as we've been talking about, David Miracle was talking about, are getting softer, but the hard data, we haven't quite seen a lot of evidence on that yet. So the Fed is basically going to sit tight on March 19th and not do anything. I thought one of the interesting things we talked about, Lisa, in terms of monetary policy going forward was the summary of economic projections and the dot plot, and basically John Williams said they're not going to mean a whole lot, just like they didn't in December, because we don't have visibility going forward.
They never do, but we produce them anyway. It's kind of frustrating, this whole thing is. Michael McKee, thank you, sir.